Okay, it's getting its life together. It's getting its life together. We live on the Facebook. We live on the Facebook. What's going on this morning? Hold on, let me cancel that out. What's going on this morning, world? Look, it's that time of year. And we wanted to come over here, me and my girl. Actually, she's not my girl. She is my consultant. She is my real estate
I'm your girl. I'm
education
your girl.
consultant who happens to be my girl. Now I got to give them, Lenore, I got to tell them the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Okay.
So today we over here to discuss how to get your real estate broker's license. And I know a lot of you believe it is a real estate sales agent's license, but that's why I brought in the guru to help update me because I have not stayed up, right? I'm not hip to the new qualifications of how to enter into the world of real estate because I've been over here now for 22 years. But what I do want to tell you is that real estate can change your life. Personally, I wanted to feel like a stay at home mom and earn an above average income. I have a Howard University graduate who is a consultant at Accenture because of the almighty world of real estate. But I also want to introduce you to Cassandra Sneed, who has impeccable follow up skills. Cassandra Sneed at one point was a 17-year-old unwedded mother receiving $286 per month on public assistance. In the month of September 2020, in the midst of a pandemic, Cassandra sold more than $1 million worth of real estate. She earned in 1 month what it would have taken her over 7 years on
Mhm.
public assistance to earn. So I need more of you thinking about entering into the world of real estate. But I don't know what that looked like today, right? Because look, the hours changed, the rules
Right.
and the regulations changed. So Lenore, who is my education specialist, actually, you got a new title, girl. So what's your title? Tell them your
It's
title.
I'm the enrollment manager, or as of probably April, the enrollment manager for the school. So anything, whether it be certification, designation, pre-licensing, any form of education, I'll be able to assist.
So people email and text me all the time about getting their real estate license here in the state of Illinois because this is state specific rules and regulations.
Right.
The very first thing I do is I forward them to you
Yes, you do.
because I like look, that's way above my pay grade. I don't know what I'm talking about. I said, so let me refer you to my girl. So imagine I want to get a real estate license. I want to get that real estate license in 2021 here in the state of Illinois. Because guess what? Maybe I was a wholesaler and I can't wholesale more than one property in 12 months now. Oops, I didn't say that. And I reach out to you.
Yes.
What do I need to do, Lenore? What's the rules? What's the regulations?
Well, just not for wholesalers, but for everybody, because you send people that don't have a background in real estate at all, and they just want to know what the process is. So I start with the 6 steps to becoming a licensed real estate professional in this industry, or to become a licensed real estate broker in particular. Keep in mind, this conversation that we're having today is about real estate in general. Some people don't want to be a broker. They might want to get their feet wet as a residential leasing agent to kind of see what it's like. It's 15 hours worth of coursework versus 75 hours. And then eventually, after having a broker's license for a minimum of 2 years actively and sponsored, you might be considering starting your own office, or maybe opening your own real estate company, and you want to become now that managing broker. You can do that. So the process starts with you making a decision on you putting in the work, because without putting the work in, there's no process. This is not one of those fly by night. I get a lot of people that I just want to make the money. Where the money reside? That's why I keep hearing where the money reside. Well, you have to make sure that you're putting the work in. So we'll use the broker course, for example. You said earlier it went from agent, now broker. Terminology means the same, but for the state of Illinois, we are now known, and the license type is as broker. It changed back in 2011. So where you might hear salesperson, where you might hear agent, you specifically are referring to a broker now.
Okay. So in the state of Illinois, we come into the industry as a licensed broker and not as a licensed sales agent.
Correct. The
Okay.
terminology means the same, but the word usage is different.
But now I want you to kind of go back one step because you just said that I could come in as a licensed leasing agent and I only got to come to school for 15 hours.
Correct. Correct. That program is, the course itself is 15 hours in length. It could be the equivalent of 2 full day webinar courses that we're doing right now. We have all been in a pandemic. Nobody has been in a pandemic by themselves. So we have not been face to face in a classroom setting for almost over about a year now. So students can do that virtually, like Marky, logging in to a platform that we use, GoToTraining or Zoom. They can get 2 days worth of coursework done, or they can take up to 90 days to complete a self-study course and then sit for their state and national licensing exam once they pass all of our pre-licensing coursework.
What age does one need to be in order to become a licensed leasing agent?
18. It's a minimum of 18 years of age. Now that law has changed. Well, the rule has changed, not just, it's been the same for leasing agent, but now this is that update. The equivalency for the broker's license has dropped. It used to be 21 years of age. It's now 18.
Whoa, so come back. I could be graduating from high. Girl, look, I just had a whole plan. You got a senior in high school.
Yes,
They're
ma'am.
getting ready to graduate. You know that they're going to be 18 soon. They're in virtual school. They don't know what they're going to do, but you know, as a parent, you need them to do something.
Right.
You've always wanted to go into real estate, but you work in a full-time job. You invest in your child attending the pre-license course while still in high school because they could sit for that exam at the tender age of 18 and you make that their high school graduation present.
Well, we still need them to have either a high school diploma or a GED, but the
It-
coursework can be started.
so
They can
so
start that
they,
coursework.
so they can complete the coursework. They just can't sit for the state exam, right?
Marky, depending on when their birthday is, let's hypothetically say I have an 18-year-old here in my house. She turned 18 today, but she doesn't graduate until June 1st. Okay. She could literally start a program that could be 2 weeks, up to 6 weeks if she's doing 3 days a week, or even 2 months or 6 months. She can start an online course. She could finish that course at the same time, have her high school diploma in her hand, and sit for a licensing exam, probably as early as sometime in July, the end of June or July, depending on how fast yes, yep. So
So
18 years of age, high school diploma or a GED, and be of good moral character.
so what I just heard you say,
I
because
heard
we
you say.
I, I heard you say where the money reside. No, stimmy check in hand, right?
Oh,
For all
oh,
these people talking about creating a legacy,
yes,
invest in your high school senior student
can do that.
that you know is getting ready to graduate, who will be 18 years of age, let's just say in this calendar year, and allow them to get a real estate license. Now that's just one thing I'm hearing. When you know your child, you're not sure what they're gonna do, but
Right.
you know that they can sell ice to an Eskimo, then no, I'm serious because we you want them to have something, and education is the only thing that you cannot take away from a person.
Uh, it- Hello, somebody.
Now, that wasn't what we had planned on talking about. That's
No.
just that's just an option, but sometimes you got to paint the picture of the option for people to know that it exists. So I'm hearing we got a solution for some of those seniors in high school. So everybody out there who's a counselor, right? All of my principals, all of my high school teachers, I need you to understand that real estate is an option
That's
for
right.
that student who you know needs an opportunity. All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and part of what my new role is, I plan on going into the schools when that happens again, when the free world is open again, because now with that age requirement being dropped, we have more options. I went to a vocational high school, Simeon Vocational High School, class of 1993, I must say.
You got to
But
say all
anyway,
that?
I did, because I need people to know that that is the original blue and gold. Hello, somebody. But I know for me, having a vocation, having trades, having those other things, although I went away and, went to college and earned my degrees, I still had, I did shop class, I did sheet metal, I did welding as a girl too. So to know that in high school they have an option with a high school diploma that can afford them the ability to sustain themselves and a family, consider real estate as an option, is what I'm saying. Now, can I stop right there and revisit something that I heard you say? Because you said something about the STEMmy stems for AKA.
I did say something about the STEMmy STEM because this is a way to level up.
I heard you say.
This is a way to take that money and invest it in something that's viable,
Please
right?
do.
To
Please do.
help create a legacy. Because, see, you really want to make too much money to get a stimulus check.
She said it. She said it.
You see, all you now. Let me get my thoughts together. Everyone out here proud to get a stimulus check, but professing to live their best life, got money. You just told a lie on yourself. You want to make so much money, you don't even qualify for a stimulus check. Now, I understand there are a lot of people who need the stimulus check, and I hope they get it and they get it on time. But you want to put yourself, when you're talking about millions and billionaires and a whole lot of language we're hearing, you want to put yourself in the position that a stimulus check is not worth your time, and that if one shows up, you would be willing to donate it.
Well, I wish one would show up so I could donate, but at the same time, I know this has been a hard time for everybody, whether you have it or you don't, especially my friends and people that I've been speaking with in the hospitality sectors, the travel industry, just general customer service based type companies where you can't go to a department store anymore and see the hustle and the bustle. I used to work for Sears and it was nothing to, excuse me, in the aisle because it was so many people. That's not the same anymore. Most of that is virtual online shopping as well. What I would like to say, whether you got a stimulus check or not, like you mentioned, invest in yourself. Use your pandemic time wisely. Use the money that the federal government has placed in your bank accounts to put you in a new position this time next year.
Here's my dilemma. Yesterday, I went to go see the esthetician. There was a line wrapped around the corner at Louis Vuitton. There was a line at the Gucci store. Do not buy another designer handbag and you don't have something else to fall back on.
That's the truth. That's the truth. You don't want to tell people how to spend their money, but I'm here today to tell you that if you're not considering real estate as a part of your exit strategy, your right now strategy, your blueprint for your family, your future endeavors, then you might be you might be ruling yourself out of situations that you could possibly be in.
You know what? Timing is everything.
Time
So
is of the essence in real
I
estate.
have I have 9 sources of real estate related income,
That's a
right?
blessing.
I just want to show you this. I just got an email this morning that says e-bonus checks. Those are deposits in my bank account. You see that time? 9:54 a.m. Not one of them, but 2 of them as a result of just one stream of income in the world of real estate. That's the power of real estate. And one license
Hmm.
can get you multiple sources of income, whether it's from selling real estate, whether it's from referring real estate, whether it's from leasing real estate, whether it's from property management, whether it's from the education side that I happen to be on, and all those other sources of income, whether it's profit share, revenue share, residual. There's numerous sources of income. I get 9 minimum, 9 checks every single month. You see, I just got 2 today. Okay. Minimum.
You know how that happens? You know how that happens, Marky, because you started with your license. Well, you started with a vision first of all, to put you in a position to earn that license. There's a lot of hard work that comes along with earning that license and sustaining that license. You leveraged yourself because you didn't see just this one avenue where it's okay if that's all you want to do is represent people that are buying, selling, maybe leasing. I know a bunch of folks in the real estate industry that do that every day, and that works for them, and that's fine. But to have those additional streams, you don't even have to quit your full-time job to do real estate. I know police officers, firefighters, teachers,
Nurses.
pastors, people in the healthcare industry that are all, they have real estate licenses and they supplement. We can use that word. Let's supplement. Maybe you have those healthcare benefits or other benefit packages that work best for you and your family, and you can free up some evenings or some mornings or some weekends. Real estate is that one thing that you find in mutual funds, predominantly in just whatever types of sectors to help complement you, be financial, be it personal, be it an ultimate goal that you want to leave a legacy for someone. So how do you do that? You make the decision to, number one, put the hard work in, like I said. Number two, I got my coaching shirt, referee shirt on.
Come through, because you're the real estate coach, right?
I like to say I'm the real estate referee is what I call myself.
What you referring?
Well, I'm that middle person in between the student and the state.
Okay.
So my goal and my job is to make sure that the rules and regulations are enforced. So when the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Industry submit or drop a rule or a rule change or something, and the average student doesn't know what that means or how it applies to them, that's my role to break that down in layman's terms, to tell them, listen, we just went from 90 hours for a broker pre-licensing course to now 75 hours. But guess what? You're doing the same amount of work no matter what. You just have 15 hours of less time to do it in. So let's talk about the process to get that done. That's what I do.
So you said it was a 6-step process. What are those 6 steps?
So the first step, number one, we'll just stick with the broker program. The first step is to complete the 60-hour portion of the course. It is a 75-hour course. So first step, 60 hours, complete that. Second step, complete the remaining 15 hours of the course. The third step is to take your licensing exam. For the state of Illinois, you get 4 attempts to pass the licensing exam for a broker's license. If you don't pass on the first attempt, you pay $55 for that attempt. But if you don't pass on the first one, you have to pay another $55 for the second, the third, and the fourth. Now, if you don't pass after the 4th attempt, you are required to take the entire course over again.
Those 4 attempts, how long do I have to, how long does that last? Is that in the court? What's the time frame for the 4 attempts?
That's another change that was recently made by the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulations. Your transcript after you complete the pre-licensing course, we give you 2 transcripts. The first one is after that 60-hour. The second one is after that 15-hour. The transcripts went from being valid for 4 years, now down to 2 years. So yes, and we had a lot of students and people that have waited, and now they may have been 2 or 3 years out.
Is that 24 months from the date of the last transcript?
24 months from the date of the first transcript. So if I took my 60 hours in November of last year and I waited to take my 15 hours in January of this year, my transcript expires in 2023, November of 2023.
Okay, so that's a rule. Let me just say this. The last time I talked about it, it was 90 hours, not 75. The last time I talked about it, it was 3 attempts at $45. Now it's 4 attempts at $55.
Correct.
And then the transcript used to last longer than 24 months. And so this is another reason why, as a licensed, and I'm a licensed managing broker, that it is your responsibility to keep up with the rules and the regulations. Now, what I knew was I was not keeping up with the rules and the regulations. I would have answered every last one of these questions wrong, which is why I'm sending them over to you, Lenore. Now, you schooling me today, and I'm still not going to, and I'm just being honest, because people need to be honest, right?
Right.
I'm still not going to answer these questions because it is not what I'm best at doing, and I'm not keeping up with those
Right.
set of rules and regulations, right?
But I
That's why
am.
you might,
I
yeah, I
am.
know. That's why I send them to you. Well, look, text you, email you, inbox you on the Facebook.
Send a
I'm not
pigeon.
dealing
Send
with
a
this.
pigeon.
Okay, so wait a minute, girl. Okay, so I'm glad to know this. All right, I'm keeping up. Okay, so we got the transcript, and they got it's 4 attempts, 24-month expiration.
24 months, correct,
Okay.
2 years. So again, the first step is to complete the 60-hour pre-licensing portion of the course. Then the second step is the 15 hours that's remaining. That's an interactive course that you need to complete through the school. And then third step is to take that licensing exam. Step number 4, after you successfully completed your licensing exam, it technically says you're supposed to apply for your license, but I'm going to try to revise that, because you'll walk out of the testing center with your score report that says, congratulations, you've passed, and it'll tell you to go to idfpr.com to apply for your license. You want to wait. The reason why you don't want to do that as quickly is because you don't have that sponsoring broker in place. A sponsoring broker, AKA, is that real estate office that you're going to partner with, and they're your umbrella, because you can't go out and do anything just because you passed this test on your own. Part of that sponsorship relationship is to help you get up and running in this business that I love called real estate. For the first 2 years, you're required to be sponsored by a real estate company. It can be different ones, but I suggest that you pick right on the first time so that you don't keep moving and it'll affect your first 2 years and you get stagnated and get in and out of the business. So choose wisely. Then once you choose that sponsoring broker, you are then required to join the same real estate association that sponsoring broker is a part of. Then you apply for your license. So we've taken care of steps 4 and 5.
Now, you know what? I'm going to pull this book out, and I'm going to tell you why I'm pulling this book out. And this is why they really need you. This is an old version of the Illinois pre-license book. There's only one little paragraph in here about the National Association of Realtors. One of the reasons that I love the Realtors Real Estate School, right, is due to the fact that it is affiliated with a real estate association. That means that people also come to understand what they have to do once they earn the license. And if you want to have that good MLS access, you want to have advocacy, you want to have the support and the branding of the realtor brand, you must join your local real estate association. So I was one of the people a long time ago who just read this book, passed the exam my first time, didn't know nothing, didn't ever went to pre-license school. Let me just let you know that. Let me tell you how shocked I was when I showed up at the Chicago Association of Realtors and had to give them my credit card. And they let me know that not only did I need to give them my credit card that day, that I needed to come and see them at least once per year. And a lot of times when you come into real estate, you don't understand, and I know that you have this discussion with them, you're an entrepreneur, you're an independent contractor. And so that means you become responsible for your earnings, but also keeping up with the rules and the regulations. You want the support of a realtor association to remind you of those rules and those regulations, because
Right.
that's your responsibility. But just one little paragraph in this book, right? And then you realize you learn thousands of times more than this book once you get out here and start practicing real estate. So I keep this book just as my little example.
So just so people know, you've put that book up. Marky did mention that that is an older version. We've now moved to, I believe it's the 10th edition that we're on right now. So another thing too, that book won't teach you sales skills. It
Yeah.
won't teach you how to survive in the industry. You're learning rules, regulations, laws, what could be a testable question on the state and national licensing exam. Again, that's why I say you have to, in the very beginning, decide and bet on you. You've got to make the investment of time as well as money into this new career. You can't look for the paycheck to just show up in 2 weeks because it may not. So, what is your fallback plan if it does not? One thing that I did when I started in this industry, this is my 20th year in real estate. When I started, I did have a full-time job, but I also kept up with education. Education is key. You mentioned Marky once a year at least. I'm going to say in the very beginning, you need to probably be seeing us almost weekly because there are classes that can help you. The ethics classes, the roadmap to a transaction. What happens when your class gets thrown? I mean, your closing gets thrown off course, or you're in the middle of a transaction and don't know what to do. There's designations and certifications related to negotiations and how to specialize. We're working with buyers and sellers and military personnel and professionals. We have at the association and at the Realtors Real Estate School opportunities for you to specialize in areas, as well as ways for you to right ways for you to kind of stick your toe in, but also put your foot in and have some longevity in this industry.
I'm pulling this out. I did come into real estate in 99 as a lender, and I was a certified residential mortgage specialist. I got my broker's license in 2002 and decided I was going to start practicing real estate full time in 2003. First of all, I didn't take the pre-license. I didn't have a Lanora to support me, so I will admit I knew nothing. But I came back to the Chicago Association of REALTORS and I took the ABR, the Accredited Buyer Representative. My first full-time year in real estate was 2004. I was in the top 10% of realtors in the city of Chicago. I closed $12 million in volume because I accepted the fact that I didn't know anything and I took that additional education. So when you say be there once a week, I was there almost once a week because I earned the ABR. I started taking the classes for the CRS at that time. So I was popping up because the mere fact that I didn't know what an MLS ID number was hurt my feelings. No, I'm dead serious, right? So, and here I am strong after all these years, but it's nothing that you're saying about education that I don't agree with. And it's all right there at the Realtors Real Estate School. And here's the next thing, and it's housed. Think about this. You all are housed whenever we go back to a face-to-face environment at the Realtor building, home
One
of the
stop
National
shop.
Association of Realtors with 1.4 realtor members, probably more than that at this point, but it's also home to the world's largest real estate library. If you want knowledge, if you want the ability to pass that exam, and here's another thing, passing the exam, you need support
Right,
in
right.
passing the exam. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I was there on a regular. Once they made me slide that credit card, and one took that much money, and then said, "And you need to come back and see us again every year." I'm like, "Oh, I need to leverage. I need to know what's going on up in here. Since y'all getting all my money, I need to come and be here on a regular." And the ABR was the very first thing that I did. So you want to call and take the ABR course. And I know you got one of those on the schedule. I think Maurice Hampton teaching it.
Yes, yes, yes. I want to go back really quickly because this video, Facebook Live or YouTube can be out for 10 years from now. And somebody's going to say, well, how did she get a real estate license and didn't take the class? No, you will be taking a class now because Marky did it at a time where education could supersede or accelerate you through the process. That has changed. You cannot do that right now. You will, I don't care, unless you're like an attorney here in the state of Illinois and authorized to practice law, any type of law, that is an exception to the rule.
Should have mentioned that. It was a small window. And usually I say that
Yeah,
it was a small window of opportunity back in
right.
2001, 2002. They got rid of that small window of
Oh,
opportunity.
quickly,
It
quickly.
was dumb. I mean, honestly, whoever came up with the concept however many decades ago, It was dumb. There's no way I should have been able to not attend school, earn a broker's license, and then open my own company. I had never been supervised or managed by anyone.
Well, I still see people that want to do that now. They'll call, well,
Yeah.
how do I start my own office? Well, you have no experience up under your belt. I can say I lived through the debacle in 2008. I can say that I plan to live through this pandemic and whatever else comes. But what I also can say is through each of them, because of my real estate footing, I've been able to survive. I am a single parent, so I'm still right now, even in the midst of a pandemic, gainfully employed, taking care of two e-learners as they're learning right now, and working remote as well. So can you do it and make a career out of it? Yes, you can. The second thing that I wanted to mention as we go back is that final sixth step. So the sixth step is basically renewing your license. The first time you renew it, it's always April 30th of the even number years, unless IDFPR makes an exception to the rule like they did last year. So next year will be a renewal period for brokers. So if you get a license this year, you'll be renewing next year by April 30th of 2022. Don't wait, don't wait, don't wait. Education, education, get it done, get it done. So that's what I have. We've talked about, Marky, um, the 90 hours to 75 hours, so the time frame for the course. We've talked about the transcripts. We've talked about the 6 steps to becoming licensed. What I'd like to mention, because we've kind of hinted upon it, is what effect the pandemic has had on the real estate industry. I won't speak for you, Marky, but I don't know if there's ever been a time that I've never been in a seller's market for myself in the 20 years. This is the first time, because when I was in the industry, it was a buyer's market. You had to have on skates because everything and everybody was selling. Well, a seller's market simply means that inventory is low, demand is high. So right now, I've seen people standing in lines outside of homes to preview, to go through an open house, because there's limited inventory and everybody is ready to buy. So if I were you and I would be considering a career in real estate, take this number or this statistic with you. From August of 2019 to August of 2020, in a 1 year calendar period, real estate for the city of Chicago was up 39%. So what that means is when every other industry was doing this or this or this, we were doing this. And with moratoriums in place, where landlords are maybe paying the mortgage because their tenants are probably not paying, or they're considering, I might end up losing this property as a homeowner or something, consider that they're going to need a professional, a real estate professional, to help families that might be a product of this pandemic in not such a good way. So if you are considering a career in real estate right now, not tomorrow, not later this week, not next month, you should be calling me. We should talk. Let's map out a plan, because I can do that with you one-on-one. I want you to be in this industry that I love as well. I want you to have umpteen years. Whether you do this full time or part time, I want you to invest back in yourself. Whether you have the stimulus check or not, let's start saving. Let's start putting some money aside. I've had people that were not ready, and they call me back a year later or 2 years later, because they've been putting little money and coins to the side, saving up for this. And when I mean save, not just for the class, I'm talking about let's save to have some emergency funds in place, so that if you don't close in 2 weeks or 6 months, you have something to fall back on. I'm about you being in the industry for however long you want to be, not because you have to get in and you have to get back out because you can't stay in the industry.
Mm. Now, I thought you was going to talk about where the money resides.
I know where the money resides,
Mm.
because I wouldn't have stayed anywhere for 20 years if I know I couldn't go out there and get me a bag with some money in it. So I'm real clear on where it resides. But I also know that I've put in a lot of hard work Blood, sweat, and equity. It did not come to me easy. It will not come to you easy. So if this is something that you're not willing to work for it will not come to you. But I know what it does when you pass those keys across that table. I know that feeling when you've helped someone break a generational curse because now they're the first homeowner in their family. I know how it feels when you've invested in yourself and now your kids or your grandkids or other family members and friends are looking up to you because they've watched you. They've secretly thought, this might not work out, but let me see how it worked for her. And then they call me and say, well, my friend is doing really, really well in real estate. I think I might want to try it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So I know that the Chicago Association of Realtors also has the Chicago Association of Realtors Education Foundation.
Yes.
If I wanted to come and get my real estate license and I'm going to borrow some money to make that happen, right? Or I'm going to do the stimulus check and invest in myself. Do you all have any resources or funds to help me?
We do offer scholarships, and those scholarships are only applicable at the Realtors Real Estate School. So there are scholarships dedicated specifically for designations and certifications. There's scholarships for someone that might want to start a career in property management and need to get their feet wet in that. There's scholarships for higher education learning. So those that are in post-secondary or collegiate colleges and universities that are working towards a career in real estate or that type of degree. We've got scholarships for that. Pre-licensing scholarships, we have those too. Now they're deemed reimbursable, so you will not get the money up front. And it's not promised or guaranteed to everybody. There's an application process. And then the foundation, there's an actual committee that will meet and they go through the paperwork and the applications and the submissions and they select. For example, the pre-licensing roadmap to Realtor, it's done quarterly, all scholarships. So there's a date coming up. It's March 20th. March 20th. So I'm looking at that's this Saturday. That's this Saturday. So quarterly, that foundation accepts scholarship applications. And you can submit that application to be reviewed, and they will determine who the 10, it's only 10 scholarships per quarter, so 40 people per year, who those 10 recipients are. And that scholarship is valued up to $700.
But that's still a lot. That is essentially 4 people per month almost, right? That you
Correct.
can come and earn a real estate license that will change your life, that will allow you to create a legacy and this is no matter where you live in the city of Chicago, right? You just
Right.
need to
But
be a
this
resident
specifically for the state of Illinois.
for the state of Illinois.
Mhm.
And we're willing to reimburse you. No one reimbursed me for an undergrad degree or an MBA degree. I haven't got a reimbursement check on none of that
I'm
yet.
still waiting.
Yeah, and so just to imagine that opportunity, and that was 40 opportunities, and then all the other scholarships, and to help women in underserved communities. We also had a Marky Lemons Rao Education Advancement Scholarship that you can use to get your real estate license. So I come from the concept of the no excuse zone.
I
You
like
say
it.
you want to do this. If you're in the state of Illinois, but even let's highlight, if you are in the city of Chicago, this is the no excuse zone. We're still operating in the midst of a pandemic. We're
Right.
still selling real estate. In the state of Illinois, real estate is deemed essential. And we got some money. If you do it the way it's supposed to be done, I don't care how many applications you need to affirm over your life that you're going to get this money because you're going to do it the right way. You're going to perform and do it at its highest level. And then you could be a Cassandra Sneed who earned in 1 month what it would have taken over 7 years to earn. Or you could be a Marky Lemons Rao. And I was a unwedded mother, and I got me a Howard University graduate. And let me just knock on this. All student loans that I took are paid in full. Okay. Now Skylar got his own little student loans he needs to take care of. But here's the power of real estate though. Skylar has $32,000 in student loan debt from attending Howard. which in the grand scheme of things, where you're a consultant at Accenture, is not a lot of money. But in the state of Illinois right now, through the power of real estate, there is a $40,000 up to $40,000 student loan debt forgiveness if you purchase a home, 1 or 2 flat. So guess who is going to go through IDA to buy his first property and eliminate his student loan debt?
Can
That
you break
means
down what IDA is? Because
it's
somebody
the
might be Googling.
Illinois Housing Department Authority. You want to reach out, I'll drop her information, Rosie Verding, over there. I actually have a video in my feed where I interviewed her about the program, but you can get up to $40,000 in student loan debt elimination while purchasing a home here in the state of Illinois. So the way I'm looking at this for Skylar, who's also a licensed broker here in the state of Illinois, who's 24 years old, that Skylar will be 27. I'm projecting this in the future. He will be a homeowner with no student loan debt, degreed, and a licensed real estate broker. That's
And
what I
earn that that real estate
Oh, he earned that
pre-licensing
license.
coursework at the Realtors Real Estate School,
He
I
sure
must
enough
say.
did, because he didn't have no choice, and he harassed you too. What? His mama
He
sent
did.
him over to you. I know he did. Stop playing.
He
His
didn't harass
mama.
me.
Well, he look. You know my son will pick up the phone, call, text, and
He did.
email.
He did
I
that.
know he will. And so I'm telling you this because I made a promise to that child when I had him. When I made the choice to be a single parent, I remember bringing Skylar home from the hospital, and I cried because I did not ensure that he was going to have a mother and a father who were going to be equally yoked in his raising. I got on my knees in his room and I prayed to God. I said, God, if you will help me, because this has been the most selfish decision I've ever made in my life. I didn't know it was selfish till I got him home. And I realized how selfish I had been in my action. And I said, if you can be his father in heaven, I'll do everything as his mother on earth, and we can do this.
That's big.
And I'm serious, because to be able to avoid everything else. And what I do know about my son, he has wanted to be a real estate agent since the tender age of 7. He was out here showing houses with me every single day. Look, working the little lock box, looking at the MLS printouts. And so to see your child live their dream and to
Right.
understand the possibilities and what it can do for your children, but also how it will aid him in being a better parent financially, mentally, strategically. All that came from real estate. So I'm proud to have raised a second generation realtor.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a
Yes, it
beautiful
is.
thing. And it doesn't have to stop with you. There are other success stories and other stories like that that can happen for people that are watching right now. And again, this video might be 4, 5, 10, 20 years old when somebody reviews it and they say, hey, I wonder if much has changed. I don't know exactly where I'll be at that time, but call anyway and let's see how we can help. But I'm so appreciative that you've taken the time to allow me to come before your audience, Marky. If there are any questions, I can definitely be reached at, and I think you're going to put the information out there too. I have a Facebook page as well, and I would like for you to also follow me on my own personal Facebook page, which is, well, it's for business, but it's Lanora, RRES, and it's spelled LANORARRES. Please stop by that page today, like it, share it with somebody, plant a seed for someone else. Graduations are coming up again. Start talking to the future leaders of our world. Whether you got the stimulus or not, start thinking about what you want to transition in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, what you want to look different in your own personal story. If you have any ideas that you might need someone to talk to an audience at some point, being in person, but right now virtual, I can definitely do that and help you with that too. So either give me a follow me on Facebook, give me a call at 312-214-5513. Again, 312-214-5513, or you can email me at ltolliver@chicagorealtor.com. That's L, T as in Tom, O, L, L, I, V as in Victory, ER @chicagorealtor.com. And the last email address that I want to give, Marky, is the actual email address if you have questions pertaining to any scholarship. So there is a deadline coming up. Again, I'll repeat, March 20th, which is this Saturday. So if you're interested in starting a real estate journey and you want to try to look into those resources, apply. You can do that. The next one will be in June. So the email address is carfoundation@chicagorealtor.com. So car, just like the car you drive, car foundation @chicagorealtor.com, and they can answer any questions related to scholarships.
So I want you to come back over on my page and answer the questions. We'll make sure that we get everyone tagged. Thank you so much for coming and educating me, because I need you to know Mama took her notes, boo. I got all my notes so that, and now I probably need to come and sit down because I know it's something else that I forgot. You need to commit, everyone here today, to being a lifelong learner, because there's consistently going to be something new. And you cannot rest on, look, the 5-6 changes of rules that I've gone through, or the fact that they sunset in the state of Illinois every 10 years. It's your responsibility to keep up with that information. Lanora, you are definitely my go-to person. And I'll be sending you more people, look, because that's what we do at the Realtors Real Estate School. Everyone, I want to thank you. Have a good day. Drop your questions. Reach out. As you could tell, she cool as a fan and very approachable. She will take care of you. Have a good day, guys.
My promise. Bye-bye.